Good afternoon, YouTube. This is your man all the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Combat Sports Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Folks, it's been a long time since I used that moniker. Last time I used it was last week when I had interviewed Melanie Shaw, and it was a pleasure to interview her. She's a bare knuckle fighter, and I've been kind of falling off my content on women in mixed martial arts and combat sports because, as you know, my channel is mostly focused on women bodybuilding. But I with that interview with Melanie really kind of excuse me, rejuvenated my need to every so often to talk about it. Excuse me, jump down my throat. And I had to bring in the perfect sage. It's been a long time since I used this moniker. I always go by the other guy. But I was originally, as I said again, I was originally the perfect sage. But I said, all the way George Page, aka the perfect sage, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, aka the Emperor of Combat Sports Talk, aka the Joker. But anyway, we had a big night for women. I think we had a couple of busy months for women in mixed martial arts. It's been pretty good, in the world of women at WBA, even though still gets a little bit shit on by the hardcore fans because they don't like the idea of women fighting. But these women, they go out there, they fight with their hearts, they fight with their courage. I mean, they go out there and want to prove themselves as, I won't say equals as men, but just as worthy as them. So last night we had some couple of going on. We had PFL. They had a event, and it was in Saudi Arabia. The main card was Francis Ngannou finally make his PFL debut. Francis was doing a couple of fights. He fought, Tyson Fury. He fought Anthony Joshua. Most of them in the losses. With the Fury fight was really close. I think he won that fight. The Joshua fight was definitely, he got knocked out. And but also, he defeated his opponent, and he really, I saw a little clip of it. He was smashing that guy real hard. I mean, they had to stop it. And a while back, Francis, Kobe's son died. Son Kobe died, and I think he was throwing all his despair into that every hit he's hitting this man. I could feel it. I mean, he just let everything go. And that guy didn't have a chance. So congratulations to the Terminator. The Predator, Francis Ngannou. Also, a person who I'm a fan of, and you see that she was on the, you see it opening, is Chris Cyborg. Cyborg's been busy. She's also been fighting in the boxing ring for some time. She had at least 3 fights since she switched to boxing, and she made history. She has held 3 titles. No. She has held 5 titles in 5 different organizations. Even though Bellator is now part of the PFL, she's still the women's featherweight Bellator champion. Also, she is the women's featherweight PFL champion. She beat Larissa Pacheco, who was the lightweight champion, who beat Kayla Harrison, and she beat her by a 5-round decision. It was a tough fight. I mean, you really see, I think this is probably the toughest fight Cyborg had since, I think, I would have to, that her second fight with Arlene Blanco. That was a tough fight. Those two with the distance, they went the distance, and this one with Pacheco, it pretty much with the distance too. You can see some of these pictures here. I mean, Cyborg had a rough. I mean, some cuts around her eyes. I mean, it's kind of like that scene from Rocky, and Rocky, 2, when he's sitting in the corner and says, "Cut me, Mick, cut me, Mick." That's how it is. I mean, Cyborg, and he got there. This was 39 years old. He's been fighting for nearly 20 years, and to have held 5 belts in 2 or 3 different weight classes in in 5 different organizations. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, she was the Strikeforce champion. She was an Invicta champion. She was the UFC featherweight champion. She is the Bellator champion, and she is currently now the PFL champion. That's 5 titles within a 20-span year in 5 different organizations. And at least 2 or 3 different weight classes. Being she was featherweight. I think she was one time she was lightweight. I mean, she's really has come a long way, and she's just 39, and next year will be her 40th birthday. I'm a fan of Cyborg. I like her content. I know. Shout out to my man, the coach. He interviewed a while back. She took the time to say it. But I also my man, the coach, my brother's Execution 23. Also my brother's Combo Breaker 99, BJ from No Filter MMA. I hope he's doing all right because I know he was going through some bad stuff because he lives in Florida and they get hit by both Milton and by Helen, and also my sister Tay Tay Brown. She's doing good work, and also my man WMME Addict. He's always put out good content. I just saw he posted something last night. I watched. I like to listen to his stuff. He really gives me a shout out anytime it comes on, and I appreciate that. So I shout out to those fans of mixed martial arts. But it was a pretty good fight. I mean, I didn't get to watch because, like I said again, it had in Saudi Arabia, and then, like I said, despite any month for me, I'm about broke. I'm broke. I'm broke. I think you said. But it was. I think one of Cyborg's toughest fights in her career. I mean, she has took on some top-notch competitors. Like her loss to Amanda Nunes, and her fights with Holly Holm, and I mean, the Arlene Blanco fight, that was really a tough fight. And here it is, and she's just, I mean, she was going at it. She just ragdogging Alyssa Pachenko. I mean, it's just she's just throwing punches. Pachenko didn't she didn't feather. She was throwing it, but Cyborg just had the better skill set. Both of these ladies are Brazilian, probably Brazilian women. She had her on the ground. You can try to choke her out, and just Cyborg is just strong, just strong. Pachinko just want to come on, nah. Cyborg ain't doing that. You want to come on, you better come on. It's not like the time when you a fight between Ali Blanco and Blanco like put her finger down and says, right here in the middle of the ring. Come on. She said, hey, I'm not chasing after you. You're the champion. You're supposed to chase after me. But she did a good. Pachinko got some good shots in. I mean, she put up a good fight. But it's just that I think even though she is getting older, Cyborg is just the truth. I mean, she's just a tough fighter. She goes in, balls to the wall. She really puts up a good defense. That's one thing she works on is a defense. But her striking is just game on. I mean, but mutual respect between both these women. Both these ladies were in the UFC. As you know, Arlene was in UFC early in her career. Larissa was in a UFC early in her career. Cyborg was there. So that was Messi. Messi was there because it's so popular in it did in Saudi Arabia. So there's a Ray Sifo. He's the head of the PFL. He also himself was a former fighter. It was, like I said, tough fight. I mean, as you know, PFL Super Fights winner Chris Cyborg, and it was by unanimous decision, 49-46, 49-46, 49-46. That's the three judges say, and that's for I think 5 rounds. And now she is now the current PFL champion in 145. So it was a super fight. I mean, it's great to see the opportunity women to get, especially in some organizations. Not a lot of people like the idea of women in combat sports. It's just this is how it is. But I want to give a shout out to Cyborg. I'm a fan of hers. Follow her social media. I think she's a great person. She's a proud woman. As you know, she's American citizen because politicians go around now these days. She's been an American citizen for the past I think 5-6 years. So that's the thing is she should have swapped out the Brazilian tag for the American tag because she is American citizen now. But she still keeps. I think she keeps dual citizenship, being from Brazil. She's but she does good work. She's a good person. Some things I think she needs to speak up on, that my man coach mentioned, but other things I think she's in her warehouse. And now with this out of the way, what's next for Cyborg? As you know, there's not that many women in that division that are Kayla Hype Job Harrison. She tucked tail and ran over to UFC, and she's calling out Juliana Pena for a fight. The thing is, can Kayla make? She can barely make 135. I think she's been coming up like 136, 136 and a half. I mean, and she also mentioned that she has to go in for some medical issues because the fact is, those weight cuts are vicious, especially for a woman who's naturally big. Kayla is no small fry. And, you know, to fight at 135, I don't know. You really have to think about it. Her fight against, you know, um, Catlin Vieira, I didn't get to see it because, uh, I didn't pay the pay per view. Like I said, it's a suspense because I've been watching some bodyweight competitions and catching up on those. But she did somewhat decently well. If there's I would say something she needs to work on. Especially if you're a woman and you are a much bigger woman naturally. The weight thing is the issue. Women carry more, have a higher BMI than men. And, this is where that could be issue, you know, that she might need to really consider. And this is straight out to the UFC, you know, open up back the 145 division. It makes more sense. Some of these women are, killing themselves trying to make 135 if they're naturally big. Like a good example is I would say uh Macy Chason. You know, Macy, she is, she's a big girl. She's like 6 feet tall. And Kayla, she has quite a lot of muscle mass for a woman her size. She's, like I said, she's no small little woman. If you ever seen Kayla Harrison, I used to say often that she could be, if she ever thought about it, she's at some levels almost comparable to some women in bodybuilding. If you look at her size, maybe, I don't know, it was something she wants to do, because I know a lot of these competitors. I know some competitors who have one point, even, people like, good example is Tisha Torres, who came back after she took some time off, and she did bodybuilding for a bit. There's also Felice Herring. She competed in bodybuilding for a bit. There's a couple others. I remember seeing some here and there that did some competitive bodybuilding. But Kayla Harris is not a small woman. She's a big girl, and even if she loses like body fat, she still has muscle mass, and that's the thing. Muscle does weigh, it weighs more than fat. So she has to drop a lot of muscle mass to probably get 135. You know, I don't know if she can, how long she can do this, because like I said, she's in her mid 30s, and your body changes as you get older, especially when you start reaching up to your 40s and 50s. I can tell you that it changes. And her fight with Catlin Vera was pretty good. I mean, some points she's doing that too much. She's dropping her head, kind of like Mackenzie Dern. Don't drop your head when you throw a punch. Keep your eye on your opponent, because you never know, your opponent might hit you with something. You don't see it. You know, but she put up a good fight. Also, she's a adopted mother. She raises her niece and nephew because her sister passed away. This is a nice little moment with her and her and Caitlin Vera. Shout out to Caitlin Vera. She was one time, Caitlin Vera was one time a contender herself for 135, but then she lost against Ariana Danya, and that set her back into some injuries, and then she lost against um, what's her face, the Russian chick who's married to what's her face. I forgot her name. It doesn't, it'll pop up in my head. But this is, here. It's like this. He says,
I'm praying for him. I'm praying for God's protection, strength during this trial of the hurricane coming, especially my friends on the West Coast. I'm also praying for those who have already been hit by a hurricane for their continued grit and strength. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sending you lots of love and prayers, and I'll be there to help.
Like I said, it's nice of her where she's, I know, they don't have to be hurricanes on the West Coast unless it's like a typhoon, something like that, or Hawaii, but not too often. Most time where West Coast is usually fires. But she's been a game opponent for a good while. I mean, and that's the thing is, UFC need to really consider opening up 145 because she's mostly just kind of just getting by, making like 135, 136. It's tough. The extra pound, and especially when you fight for a title, you need to fight at a full 135. You can't be a pound short. You can't be a pound over. You have to fight a full 135 for title matches. That's the rule. If you're fighting for any of the titles like 125, 135, 115, those titles, you have to be at 135 exactly. Because they don't like if you're fighting just like a regular fight or a contender fight, they give you at least a 2 pound allowance. But for the main fight, for the big fight, for a title fight, you have to fight exactly at that weight. And you can rehydrate later. But then that's the cut part. You have to wait and wait and wait. Then you take your time and have to hydrate. I mean, that's just too much especially for a woman. It's just too much for her. But like I said, I gotta give respect that she's doing the best she can. But the fact is that I think the UFC need to open up uh 145 for her and maybe even recruit. There's a lot of women who are, I think a while back PFL had a tournament like a year ago where they, were recruiting some new 145ers. So you could possibly, pick up some of those ladies. I mean, there's someone who would love to come to UFC and to prove themselves. Uh, One person who made a return after, taking some time off is Juliana Pena, the Venezuela's vixen. As you know, she fought to gain the 135 title for Raquel Pennington. I don't call her Rocky. Yeah, I don't call her Rocky. It's a name that, as you know, is reserved for the true Rocky. That is Rocky Balboa. You can't. It's Rocky. There's Rocky Leon Edwards, but he has the right to be called Rocky. He deserves that right to be Rocky. But their fight between Pennington and Pena goes back to when they both fought that year on the Ultimate Fighter. They were both on the opposite sides. With Pena was with Misha Cupcake Hate Tate, and Pena was with Lousy Drowsy Rousey, or Misha Tate and Ronda Rousey. That was a year where Kat Zingano was supposed to fight for the title, but she had got an injury. So Dana asked Misha to come in and be one of the coaches, and she did. And I think there was a couple of fighters that also was on that year that eventually joined the UFC. Some got cut, some moved on, some long since retired. And it's just she's calling out. She wants to fight against Pena. And so again, for order for Kayla to get in that fight, she has to make 135. And Pena is not interested in Kayla Harrison. From stuff I'm hearing, Pena is good at the mic. She has mic skill. That's why she's so popular. She's not interested in fighting Kayla Harrison. She wants to fight with the former double champ, and that is Amanda Nunes. As you know, Nunes used to train and spar with Kayla Harrison. And she retired last year after she defeated Irene Anderson. I mean, Irene Ardalian. Now she posted this video where on the social media like she's dancing and she's staying in shape and she's training. She I don't know if she's gonna like this. I'm saying you should have stayed. Why leave? I understand you feel like maybe you feel like my main coach says sometimes some fighters they have that mentality when they walk away from something they feel like they're not finished. And that's the thing is, she's beating everybody. She's beating everybody. She's beating Holly Holmes. Her and Valentina Shevchenko, they fought twice. She beat Cyborg. She's beaten Negan Anderson. She's beaten Felicia Spencer. She's beaten, Juliana Pena, her and Juliana Pena have a win loss between the both of them. You know, I think maybe they might do a third fight between because hey, they had big that tie, kind of with Valentina and with Alexa Grasso, where they have Valentina has a win, Alexa has a win, they have a draw between the both of them. So and no point there was talk about Valentina want a shot at it, but what's the point? You lost two straight. Most times they give you a third fight if they feel like they want to break that tie. You know, and I know, as you know, I saw it was last month we had the fight for the title between Valentina and Alexa Grasso, and I was rooting for Valentina. I'm a fan of Valentina. I think she's a great fighter. She has a particular skill set. I mean, she's kind of like dude from the Taken. He says she has particular skill sets that pretty much fighting a lot of fighters. Some fighters don't want to fight. You know, Valentina. Back, was after I think after the fight against her and what's her face. That's when I think they feel like, oh wow, they saw how she lost. She won the fight, but she just barely won the fight. And many people in mindset feel like I can probably beat her. You know, because some point there was some fights. Hey, they want some fights, and they say, nah, I don't think I want to fight her. Nah, skip. Nah, you say, wait, come on. We have an opportunity here. Nah, I don't think I'm ready to fight her. But everybody keep ducking. But then when she lost to what's the face, a while back, then he saw, oh, now Valentina, we can beat Valentina. Yeah. But the thing is, she's still the top of the hill, and she comes back, she wins her title back. She beats Alexa Grasso like beat her like she stole something, you know. And like I said again, Valentina's just that fighter. She's just her capabilities, her intelligence, her how she can switch up a style when necessary. I mean, I have a lot of respect for it. As you know, her former opponent here, Kaya Santos, she's over the PFL, and she's probably going to have a shot for PFL title because she just beat the former Bellator, flyweight champion, Gorilla Carmouche, and and that fight didn't get a chance to see it because that's his PFL. PFL, different. Used to, I think come on cable or something. I don't watch cable that much, but we have some impressive women coming up. I was trying to find that picture. With always, this is from WMA WMA rankings. He does. This is his IG. He does a lot of content on women in mixed martial arts. I follow him. As you saw a while back, return of Carla Esparza. And also Teacher Torres, both ladies who've been out due to having, being pregnant. Carla, she and her husband have a son. Tisha and her wife, Raquel Pennington, Teacher Pennington, have a daughter. And after this fight, and I think it was the end of Carla Esparza. Carla being the first, being the second two-time champion, because the first was Rose Namajunas. Rose lost the title to Jessica Andrade, and then she won it back when she beat Weili Zhang. And then she loses the title to Carla, and Carla loses the title to Zhang. It's a back and forth here. But Carla decided, what, she's going to go ahead and go off and ride in the sunset. And that's a good idea because, his thing is with some fighters, when you get kids, especially for women, I think with women, that's the hard part. When you get kids and you get settled, you become less savage. You become more civilized. She's married now. It's one thing you have a fighter that was married before they got into the fight game. Even some ladies who got married while in the fight game. But what happens is you lose that part of you that made you hungry. because when you're like it was just like you fight because hey, you know what? I'm out here just fighting for my own. I don't really care about anything else. Yada yada yada. And you just do it for enjoyment. But then when you settle down, become a wife and a mother, you know, it's never the same. That's her little boy. For the boy got to be at least already a year old, and cute little baby. She got him the Cookie Monster suit, and she left the gloves in the ring. So, and she's been off for at least about 2 years. You know, was a big fan of Carla Esparza. She was the first champion, and then she lost the title um Joanna Jacek, who also retired. Joanna retired around about last year, and the game's changed for some of these ladies. It's not going to be the same. The fighters are coming in a lot younger. Some of them have a lot more experience. The backgrounds have changed. I mean, MMA has evolved in the last few years. Most of the time, you're getting women coming from other sports, like some wrestlers, women do karate and martial arts. Some women in boxing. Like one good example, you have, you got Chrissy Shields come from boxing, come to MMA. That's a big thing. And it's just that the sport is evolving. The women are getting more educated. Sorry, folks. They're understanding more what's involved in this sport. You know, and the thing is, you have to be educated. You can't be one dimensional. A good example of that is Ronda Rousey. She mostly used judo in her fight games, and she did pretty good. And she had that one thing was her arm bar. That was the thing that kept her, winning competitions and doing well at fights. But she got exposed by Holly Holm, who at one point you remember Holly Holm was a boxer. Then she did kickboxing for a minute, and then she came to the UFC. Now Holly Holm's still here, and she needs to really consider retiring. Like I said, Holly Holm, she's over 40. I think she's like 42, 43 this year. And you're getting women who are here who are maybe half your age. You know, I think getting women who are in their 20s. When you started boxing, they weren't some of these ladies that weren't born yet. Some were still in the crib. Some would say, "Hey, I remember you when I was a little girl." You know, here we got a comment here. This is from my man Marcus Bell. Shout out to Marcus. Salute all the way. George Page coming through, smashing that like. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Marcus, stop. You know what, Marcus? We need to get you on one of these days. Stop being scared. Stop being scarred. He sometimes say like, "Hey, Marcus, come on." Say, I don't know how to mic pay. That's all you got to do, man. You don't have to show your face. You can give like I do. But I do appreciate you, brother, coming through. Thank you. Shout out to Marcus Bell. You know, it's like I said again, the sport is evolving time after time. You the women are becoming more intelligent because fight, not just going there and just face first. They really going in with their hearts and really understanding what is involved to be a fighter. Uh, Here it goes. This says, "Oh, Chris got tested by Pachinko." Yeah, yeah, because I like I said, the only fight that really gave her a real test outside of UFC was the fight with her Arlene Blanco. And Pachinko, like I said, is much younger. I think how old is like Pachinko? I don't think she's like late 30s, late 20s, early 30s. So and she's fighting for quite some time, and her and Kayla Harrison going back and forth, in the PFL. But yeah, it was a tough test for Cyborg, but she came out on top. She won another title. You know, how long can she fight in this organization? Like I said, it's not many other competition because Kayla took her ball and ran. Kayla didn't want to stay. Kayla ran over to UFC. And that's the fight I think people want to see. Kayla Highjack Harrison versus Chris Cyborg. That remember that time, Marcus, where she was I think was it the Blanco fight or was it the Sinead O'Connor fight where she was there in the crowd watching the fight, and she, I mean, she could have she could have came over to Bellator. She remember she even fought at Invictus for a minute because she had that one fight in Invictus. She was supposed to fight. I think it was supposed to be I think supposed to be Chasey Chandler, but then Chandler dropped out for I think with some issue or something because they're doing a pandemic, and she fought that other woman. She beat her. You know, but who's there? Who do it be any? Who will be competition for Cyborg now? Because you beat the champion, top contender. Uh, as you know, PFL owns the right to Bellator, but they really hadn't really grown the 145 division. They didn't really grow the 155 division. There's no point in her fighting, Krista Shields. Krista Shields is just out of her league, and Krista Shields, she does 155. I think Chris can go to 155. She don't have to lose too much weight, but no one want to see, Chris Shields get busted up and beat up. Nah. So, if there's some more real fights, some more real contenders, they cut Julia Budd because I think she didn't want to fight somebody. Uh, I, I don't know if they're gonna pick up Arlene Blanco for PFL. They might, but there's no point getting a third fight between those two. I think who's that girl? What's her face? I forgot her name. This from my Marcus says, if that light bulb would went off in Pacheco's head that she had to put on some more muscle to fight Kayla, then I believe that Pacheco could have beaten Kayla in those other fights. Yeah, because really, Kayla has mass muscle. I keep saying this. She after she dropped a lot of that weight, she looks like she could be a bodybuilder. She most definitely. I don't think what division I would say. Well, she's not too massive for bodybuilding. She doesn't have the size for physique. I can see her doing figure, but she doesn't have that small tapering waist, so it has to be physique. You know. But yeah, Kayla did mostly had a lot of mass muscle. And I think, Carissa has more of that, back in the day fighters. Remember back in the day, old boxers didn't have that lot of muscle. They were more like in shape, but they're kind of like fat fit. Notice, well, there's an actor called Robert Mitchell back in the day. He was always doing movies. He looked like he was really fit looking, but he still got he was kind of chunky. So that's how most boxers were back in the day. Other than maybe Ali was kind of lean, but he had fit. Most boxers didn't look like you see boxers now, like the Anthony Joshua's or the Mike Tyson's. Some guys look more like the Tyson Furies. Kind of just big dudes, but not real built. That's the body types they had back then. But you see more guys look like most boxers look more like bodybuilders. They don't have the legs, but they have the upper body. Because but what's the plan for her for Puerto Because Larissa, a rematch with Cyborg maybe. That's only reason. That's the only thing she has. There's no unless there's another opponent in 145 at PFL that you want to put up against. So that leaves like a big. It really leaves it up in the air. Both of them, for both Cyborg and Larissa. There's no one really that people really want to see them fight. Maybe if Arlene Blanco come over, but then Arlene will get beat up and hurt. Sinead O'Connor maybe. Sinead Kavanaugh. Um, maybe PFL need recruit. She's not doing much. She's maybe trying to think of somebody. Marcus, who do you think they should recruit? You need somebody over there in PFL. Here's something to remember in which Kayla was able to finish all the girls in PFL except Pachenko at that time. Yeah. She, because that was one thing. That's why the UFC wanted Kayla so much because she was kind of like the 2.0 of Ronda Rousey, bigger, stronger. That's why they're really pushing her. Her fighting Julia Pena, I don't see it. If she can't make the 135 fight weight limit, it's not going to happen. And that's the reason why I say open back 145. If Amanda want to come back and fight, let her fight for an old title. Let her fight, Kayla for the old title. That would be fair. That would be right. If you kids, you get Amanda to come back, tell, hey, Amanda, you gonna fight 145. You may not like it, but hey, you don't have to worry about cutting down too much weight. We'll stack it up with some girls we already got here. You got Kayla, you got Norma Dermont, you got Macy Chazon. They can pick up some more girls, but the thing is, Dana White is lazy, and he hates the big women, he hates the really small girls. That's why he don't have atom weight. That's the division that needs to expand. I mean, just ladies over in Victor that would love to come to the UFC, but they have to make 115. And some of them feel like good example, Loma Labunke. She's more 105. She's 115. She's struggling 115. She won a couple of fights here and there, but I think she's struggling because I think she likes to fight at 105. Tisha Pennington could have fought a long time ago 105, but she put on so much mass and size she can't fight at 105. Maybe even Carla Esparza, but now she's got so big. It's just about how these fighters feel when they need to belong at, and you're pushing fighters in divisions that maybe not fit them. Just because you want to entertain your fan base, but you have a fan base that like the bigger girls, like the bigger fighters. I like to see them go out there and throw haymakers and slobber knockers. Stop using excuse because you don't like big girls. So that's your problem. You don't like big girls doesn't mean that there's a fan base for the big girls. You get more chances for maybe knockouts. You get some good fights. And, some people they want to see us knockouts and slobber knockers, but sometimes you get a good fight game when you know how to work the ground. You're a good wrestler. You're a good DJ artist. You're a good submission specialist. But the fact is, he caters to his male bases, which is 18 to 40 white males who just want to see punches and haymakers. But look at these 70 fighters now who are about punch drunk, like the Justin Gaethjes, the Max Holloways, some of these other guys who just need to think about, go ahead and retire, dude. There's no point keep fighting just because you can keep fighting. Just go ahead and enjoy life. Find something to do. Open up a gym. Become a coach. Become a manager. Maybe even do like Khabib, establish your own fighting league. And Khabib, I don't know. I don't have much for that Ego FC. Because it's I'm saying he wanted to quit because his mother, but at the same time you gotta, hey, dude, try to make a living. So forget about Khabib. But I gotta give these ladies respect. Like I said again, this is a tough sport, especially for a woman. I mean, the fight game is tough. Be it MMA, boxing, bare knuckle. I mean, it's tough because you're doing something that most people wouldn't want to do. You're going out there and getting hit in the face, in the body, in the legs. I mean, you're getting taken down. You're getting somebody to rub up on you and just crawl up on you. I mean, it's tough. But one fight, I think she should go ahead and call it quits. I don't know why she's hanging in here. Uh, it's her career is over. It's awful. I think one thing was too many setbacks for her, and that is Jessica Toucan Sam Panay. like, uh, she's pushing 40, and I don't know why she's still fighting. I know she's one of the first women who were part of the strawweight division when they opened up in UFC, but she's between her getting busted for PEDs for taking steroids twice and get suspended, and almost that's a collective almost 4 to 3 years she was out of the game. And I know this problem is because she's getting older. She can't maintain this. She needs to retire. I mean, her fight against Elise Reed, it was just, she was getting molly whooped. I don't know how in the world, if I was anybody who's her manager, and if I somebody in that's the thing with coach things like this, the MMA, community is kind of, especially, kind of toxic. They don't believe it's something as simple as we see a fighter going through tough times. They're barely surviving the first round, the second round. They look like they're out on their feet. As a corner, it's your job to save that fighter from themselves. They're gonna keep fighting because they want to fight. But as a corner, it's your job to save your fighter. Take a fight another day. I think they should, you should always throw in the damn towel whenever you see a fighter go through so tough, a tough time. You know, it's my man Marcus. Shout out to Marcus. Thank you for hanging in there, brother. He says, I think I'm going with Pacheco next time if there's a rematch for Chris and Pacheco, because I think Pacheco can make the adjustments for Chris. Yeah, yeah. Chris, she does a little bit more bull rushing, and she kind of like she takes a little bit. She has that same kind of style like Jessica Andrade. She goes in and she bull rush a bit. She uses her strength, and she don't have that much speed anymore because she is getting older. But she uses her strength and her power to try to take out her opponent. The mistake, remember, she made with her fight with Amanda Nunes was letting her emotions get a control over her. Instead of smart and fight, instead of fighting smart, stepping back away from your opponent, going in. She should go in for a takedown, or step away from Amanda's strong hand, which is her right hand. That's a thing that Chris needs to learn. She needs to fight smarter. Like I said, the bull rushing thing has not, really, it's worked for Jessica Andrade, but now the competitors are getting younger, they're getting more stronger, they're getting more, they can read her technique. She's predictable. They know how to, I know the fight with her and people still talking about the fight with her and Lauren Murphy. I know I want to call her something, but I'm gonna be nice not to call her name. I like to call her. But Lauren Murphy is not a top-notch fighter. Come on. She's basically, if you put her on the rankings, she's not even top 100 fighting in WMMA. And just in MMA in general, she's not even the top 1,000. So, and seeing how she was like, how Jessica was just dog walked by both Jessica Andrade, not Jessica, by Valentina Shevchenko and by Wally Jane. Her last opponent, what was that girl's name? I think was the Silver girl. She just messed up. I mean, again, I think she was knocked out in one fight, and you rarely see Jessica other than her fight with Zane. You rarely see Jessica Andrade get knocked out. And I think she really needs to think about her future. I know somebody mentioned she got divorced a while back. So, and I think she's probably trying to pay for, alimony, whatever else, palimony, whatever. And then this, remember there was the the pictures that came out with her on what is it on what's it on OnlyFans? Yeah. And some people say, who wants to see that? Well, like I said, especially as a guy who does content on bodybuilders, there's guys who are into women like that who are fit, who have a fit physique. Some guys are into the women who are kind of, best way to say, kind of mannish looking, but still they have a fit physique. Guys are into that. There's some guys are into that. Some guys do like. That's why some guys like female body. It's not because it's mannish, because they love the look of the body. They love the fitness of the build of it. They love the muscle. And Jessica Andrade has that. She has a good amount of muscle. She's not too big of a body. She's not like a bodybuilder level competitor, but she has a fit body. And there's guys that like that. They get into it. She's not something I would be into because she's not that pretty. But if you look at the body, you're impressed by it. I've seen some pictures. I've seen some of the pictures, and as you know, I'm muscle person Smo, and I did kind of like, she looks all right. She looks, really fit. She got a nice body. I mean, I gotta give her that. But it's not for everybody's cup of tea. So, but back to Valentina And like I said, I'm a fan of Valentina. I think she's a great fighter. She's really on her game. How much longer she has in the fight game, no one really knows. It's up to her. She might push another year or two. Now she's got her title back. Congratulations. So maybe another year or two in the UFC. She loves fighting. She's a fighter. Congratulations to her sister. She just got a baby. So we have another generation of Shevchenko. And the big question: will Valentina come back? I'm not Valentina. Antonina come back? Mm, she's been out so long being a pilot now. Now she's a mom. She's Marcus. You can answer. Is Valentina still contracted to the UFC? I thought about it. Been cut off her now. Yeah, but her fight against you know Chris against Alexa Grasso was a good fight. And Alexa put up she did pretty good. But I think as always I say like this: Valentina is a chess player. She knows how to play the game. Takedowns. She's using a good jab. I know you can't keep doing like with Alexa. You can't do like Rocky Balboa, drop your head and go in straight in. No, you have to be a little smarter. And she really, really just was just a smarter fighter. She really just just fought the better fight. She did a lot more she did than the second fight, which I think she won the second fight. Alexa got one knockdown, and instead of just saying, "Hey," even though you get the one knockdown was enough. So now she start over again because she was already 7 rubies in by that fight with Alexa. So who's going to be on the chopping board? There's Manon Furiat. She's supposed to be the next big thing. It wasn't that long ago she fought against Aaron Blanchfield. Actually, Manon was supposed to be a stand-in fighter if something happened between either, um, Valentina or Alexa. And, she's impressive. There's a possibility that Manon could go to 135 if she wanted to, because she's a big girl. She's bigger than Aaron, bigger than Rose. I think Manon should consider it. I think they can use some new blood in 135. They don't get enough of it because it used to be 135 was the only division for women's fighters. Jessica Rossall in 135, a couple other fighters in 135. Then when you open up 115 and 125, it kind of cleared out the division a bit. Some fighters went to 115 and some fighters went to 125. And, then really, Dana White hasn't really recruited. Like, as one thing we talk about, especially Coach talk about this, when Tanisha Tennant fought on the Contender Series, and she, to my seeing of it, she beat Daniel Wolf. So sign her up, and then Danielle, sign up. You can sign up Tanisha, and then Tanisha will be happy to go to 135 because that's her natural weight. She barely made 145. Figures 142, 143. Here he goes. This one man Marcus says, "Yep, she is, and don't think Anthony is coming back. If I won't blame if Anthony retires because for me, her fighting career was over after her finished with Muay Thai career. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If she should have, like I said, she should have went to UFC a long time ago, maybe 2 or 3 years after her sister. But she stayed in Muay Thai. And Coach said this. You heard Marcus, her coach mention it. Coach says that Muay Thai is not as popular in the States compared to MMA. Antonina should have went when her little sister went over. She should have went over 2 or 3 years later, and maybe get more acclimated to MMA, where she probably could have had a good career. I would say they'll go to Invicta first, because that was back then when Invicta was the recruiting ground for the UFC, where he used to have a good relationship with Shannon Nabb and Dana White. She should have went to Invicta first, and and sharpen her skills there, maybe win a title, and then they recruit her. But because she was Valentina's sister and she was a top-notch Muay Thai fighter, they picked her up. She had some hits and misses. Some fights I think she could have won. Some fights she just it wasn't in the cards for her. She was just not a complete fighter. He says, yeah. Antonina waited too long. Yeah, she waited too long. She should have, wrapped up her Muay Thai career 3-4 years ago. Went to Invicta, climbed up the ladder to that, and then went to UFC. She got in by nepotism because her sister was one of the top fighters, and also at one point she was the champ at the time. You know, so that was it. She should have just made the switch. 3 or 4 years ago. I would say 3 or 5 years ago, when she was still fresh, still had that energy from Muay Thai. Still had that youth. Now she's a pilot. She got pregnant. Her career's over. I mean, it just might always go ahead and cut her because she hadn't fought for almost 3 years, Marcus. So there's no point keeping her. Now, Antonina, what's next for her? Let's talk about a crossover fight between her and Wiley Zhang. She's not interested in Zhang. She says she wants to fight Amanda Nunes, but no point because she lost her twice. There's no point for a rematch with her and Grasso. It wouldn't be worth it. I think she'll win the rematch. So, what Tara Santos ran over to because of the fact her husband messed up her career in the UFC. So, has to be Manon. Manon is truthfully the only choice for Valentina Shevchenko. Could Valentina beat Manon? Possibly. Could Manon beat Valentina? Possibly. This should be a good fight. I think if Valentina loses, my advice for her is just to go ahead and cut it. Because, if she wins it, yeah, keep on going. But if she loses to Manon, I would say, I know she'll want to retire on a loss. If she has a rematch with Manon, she can do that. If she beats Manon and have a rematch, then beats Manon in a rematch, then yeah, she should retire after that. Because I think Valentina's pushing about 40. Yes, and he hasn't fought in 2 years, just as long as Juliana Pena. But Juliana, she beat Raquel. Now, Raquel, what she's gonna do? There's a point in having a fight with Holly Holm. That'd be a waste of time. Sure, I beat Irene Daniel. So I think possibly I can see a fight between her and Caitlin Vieira. That's a possibility. I can see that. Both of them all a loss. The former champion lost, former title contender lost. So, I would say, yeah, I think the next fight for Raquel would be her and Caitlin Vieira. It would make sense for her to fight Holly Holm for a third time. And would make no sense for her to fight Irene Daniel, who looks like she need to be on the way out. Or, Raquel probably fight Norma Dumont. So, some might say, how about Pennington versus Dumont? But Dumont has to go through Raquel. That makes kind of sense. I think, why not? The ex-champion go up against the possible title contender. Somebody say, why don't you go ahead and give Dumont a shot at the title? Well, she's been on a winning streak. It makes more sense. I know they'd rather see her fight, Kayla Harrison, but Kayla may not be ready. Yeah. She says, yep, for Norma to get the title shot. Yeah, I agree, Marcus. I think, should it be Rocky and Norma for Norma to get the title shot, or should you give Norma a straight shot to the title? To me, I think you don't want to hold it up too long. You want, Juliana to be active. You know, so how about see by ooh, April, a title shot between Norma and Pena, and that could work. Norma versus Pena for a title shot. You know, instead of her fighting Raquel, Norma versus Pena. Because, like I said, if Kayla Harrison can't get her weight in control or get back in shape, she might as well be fighting catch weights. I would say, you know, Kayla wants to fight. Well, put her in a catch weight fight with Raquel Pennington, the former champ. You know, test how she does against the former champ. You know, that would, and then if she can make the weight, come in, come in, make the weight, and see the fight after between who's the winner between Norma and Pena, then make a fight between her and Pena. Last thing is, Kayla has to make the weight. She can't be a pound over. If she's a pound over, then it's not a title fight. They're just fighting the fight. You know, it wouldn't make sense for her. But like I said again, I am not expert. I'm not Dana White. I forget calling his real name, Dana Wife Beater. I ain't called him that in a long time. You know, but it makes more sense because I think Norma can make the weight at 135. I don't think Kayla can make it. So Kayla should just fight like a regular fight with the former champ. See how she tests against the former champ. You know, but it's just my opinion. But Marcus, I really do appreciate your feedback because you know a lot about the fight game. You're a little more educated than I am, and I do appreciate you coming through. But the thing is, the UFC really needs to open 145. It will make more sense for Kayla to fight 145. It will make more sense for if Amanda come back 145. Maybe can do like a like she did with her and Cyborg fight for champ versus champ fight against Pena in the future. But let her have that. Let him fight for the 145 title. The plan was originally, remember, the plan was that Holly Holm was had that title, but then she also gets Jermaine Duranami. See, if Holly Holm had won that title, how much I bet you Dana White would have built a whole division around her, Holly Holm. He would have. He didn't like Jermaine Duranami. They picked her because, hey, they felt like, they just picked somebody. Then Jermaine was, got the case of the limber tail, and she gave her the title. This is your first and only title you had in the UFC. Why give it up because you're afraid of Cyborg? Take the whooping. Prove yourself as or you could, or you can fight her. Either do one or the other. But don't go off like a yellow belly egg sucking dog. Quote the great late redneck Captain Dick Murdoch. He used to call it Dusty Rose. Dusty Rose, you ain't nothing but a yellow belly egg sucking dog. I remember that. It was so funny. But yeah, I think it would make more sense to open 145. You can recruit fighters. Norman can do 145 also. Macy Chazon. I think Chelsea Chandler has a problem at 135. She can make 145. You really have the women there, and you can recruit the women. There are women right now in other organizations that would love to fight. Even Victor, they stopped doing the 145 division. They used to have it until Pam Bam Sorensen left, and then they didn't really build on it. They even have a tournament. They usually have a tournament for the strawweight division, the flyweight division, and the atomweight division. And and they don't have one for the 145 division. I was really rooting for maybe seeing Olga Rubin in the UFC, but after her loss against Tina Bernardo, Tina Bernardo is not gonna go to the UFC. Not gonna. She got kicked out, Only person that was got the luck to go back after getting kicked out was Angela Hill. Angela Hill is another person who needs to really consider her future. You know, here goes from Marcus says. If UFC brings back 145, I hope they don't turn into Scott Coker with the majority of the weight class involving 40-plus-year-old ladies. Yeah. Let's hope that. But the thing is, it's gonna be. I think you got to think about it. You get Holly Holmes who's 40 plus. They they're not gonna get someone like you know Julie um Julia what's the face. She's running down. She's finally retired. You know you know the Jewel. There's some young fighters who fight at 145. Like I said, Chelsea Chandler, she's young. Norma's young. You know, they might try to pull up. Most definitely, I know they're gonna probably try to pull up Jermaine Duranamy. But yeah, that's gonna be those women that probably might have to stack up 145 at first. But they can recruit. There's organizations that have bigger women. There's women who probably fight at 140. That probably would love to fight at 145 and fight catchweight fights. You know, I mean, I think they could recruit. I think Olga Rubin, she's like in her mid 30s, so she's not 40. So she fought for the title at PFL. I mean, at Bellator. Thing is that Scott Coker he was kind of lazy. I like Scott. We did for the fighters, but he was kind of lazy when it came to recruiting. You know, he just usually Bellator was like the retirement home for fighters, with guys like Rampage and Chael Sonnen and you know uh, Lorita Machado, what his name is, and all these other fighters who like past their prime keep going there. It says PFL has some decent 145 weight class for women. Yeah, they do. I think they do. It wasn't that long they had a tournament, and they cut some women. They was having a tournament for that, and they cut some women who lost. So why not pick up some of those women who got cut from that PFL tournament? There's a bunch of them that probably decent. They just need an opportunity. And also like I said, really expand it. You could really, if like I said, if either Kayla or Amanda fights for 145 and they win, they probably rather have Kayla win. If Kayla wins, there's a good chance you can beat her. If it's Amanda, whew, I don't feel like there's not a chance to get that title from her hands. I mean, Julian Pena, I would say Julian Pena got lucky. She got Amanda on a bad day, which she won that title. And then she got dog walk at the rematch. So the UFC recruit. There are some big girls who are struggling 135 who love to go to a division that works with their body types. They have the strength, they have the power, they have the speed, they have all the necessity, aesthetics for 145. But like I said, Dana White beater, he's lazy and he hates big women. But there's opportunity there. You just got to be open and willing. So, like I said, this came on here for a minute just to talk because, like I said, I have not done any talk on mixed martial arts. So I want to say I want to give a shout out to the ladies who got Peter last night, especially to Quit Cyborg. Shout out to her. She, I saw some clips here and there from the clips I saw. She put up a good fight. Larissa Pacheco, she was no slob. That's somebody who could recruit. Would Larissa go over the UFC if they open 145 division? I think she would. That would be somebody you could recruit. Because what's the point of staying in PFL where Kayla's gone? The only person that can fight Cyborg. There's no other competition. So why not come over to UFC? She's been in UFC before. She fought UFC a long time ago. Fight 145. Open up division. Make a tournament. That'd be great. Have a tournament. You don't do that anymore. You don't have tournaments anymore, But some of them would probably love to have that 145 tournament. Don't do like they messed up that. Remember the year they had Tough. They messed that up. Instead of just expanding the 145 division, just try to get more people pushing to 135. That was stupid. That's why Cyborg didn't want any part of that season of Tough. They could have really had expanded. I mean, they could have done this year instead of with it doing men's lightweight for tough. They could have got D Williams 135. They did it. Supposed that season was supposed to be 145, but most of them got pushed to 135. So you really need to do recruiting for 135. You know, Ooh, it would have been better if it was uh, Alexa and Valentina doing that. We just had an all women's season. You know, I think most guys would prefer to be coached by men than by women. So yeah, that'd be the best thing. That'd have been a better idea. Have gotten what was the big fight that was coming out that year. Uh, you could do John Jones and Stipe, but I don't think women want to. I don't know. Well, women probably love to walk around with John Jones, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. How about this? When you do tough again with women for 135, let's see. You already had Juliana Pena. Wally don't speak no English. uh, that'd be tough. You want to do with a champion. They really wasted Valentina and Alexa's talent on the guys. It should have been like maybe I don't know. But like I said, with only, I don't know, maybe might do like one with High Home and Raquel Pennington. They want to fight, you know. It makes yeah, being them, like I said, you can Holly Hunt and Raquel, or make it Holly and Jermaine to have a rematch. That'd be great. I think that'd be great. A rematch. Been nearly 6 years since that first fight for 145. So let's do it tough. Recruit in 135 and have Holly and Jermaine fighting. And this is gonna be Holly Holmes' last fight. Yeah, I think Marcus, she has maybe 2 more fights left in the contract. So let's do it tough for women's 135, including new fighters for women's 135, and have Holly and Jermaine fight each other. And this is going to be Holly Holmes' last fight with the UFC. It could be on the undercard. It could be. It could be on the. It could be part of the undercard of a pay-per-view, or it could be a main event of fight night. I think it probably be. I think it'll make a great main event for a fight night. People will watch that. Have it. A 5-round. End of the career fight. Between Jermaine Duranamy and Holly Holm. And it's gonna be the end of Holly Holm's career. Here he goes. This says Holly might mess around and say I'm too old to retire. Well, she she can say she's too old to retire, but she only has 1 fight in her contract, and I doubt Dana White's going to renew it. Just say it's like her last fight with the UFC. If she wants, go over to PFL. PFL's going to do. They'll probably take her. Most definitely, it probably they probably take Holly home. Go to PFL. Go somewhere. But out the sunset, like I said, chick, you can't keep hanging in there. These young girls coming in here, they're gonna kill you. That fight with what's her face, the girl got busted on pads. You barely won that. You even win that fight. You got it was called a no contest. Then what happened to you with Kayla? It's you got to accept the fact that it's over for you. You were too long with the weekly job gym. I mean, your husband tried to tell you, let's move away from this gym. Let's go someplace else. Let's go someplace we can grow. She should have done some kind of real down and dirty dungeon gym and really made improvements in it. Just not just stick with one little head kick. Be more of a complete fighter. But that's the thing is she's too prideful, and that's the thing, pride before the fall. I would say, yeah, Holly Holmes should really, but she's not going to change now. She's too old and too stuck in her ways. You know, so it'll make sense. I don't know, to me that this, that make it a fight night and it'd be the last fight on Holly Holmes' contract because I think she has maybe two more fights left, and maybe just give her one more fight. Maybe somebody like did she fight Ariane Daniel? I think she did. No point in fighting Raquel Pennington again. I don't think did she fight? I think she either have a fight Misha Tate or have a fight uh um Jermaine Duraname. I think those are those two losses I think she wants to avenge. So, yeah, Misha Tate or Jermaine Duraname. One of those two. And maybe just give us a fight like maybe, she never, it's a for her fight. She's not, she's too far down to get the title shot. That's her title shot opportunities are gone. Maybe a rematch with the girl that beat her that was cheating. But then I think she still beat her, even though she wasn't on, if she's not on steroids. They'll figure out. There's no point in her having a third fight with Raquel. And, maybe Chelsea Chandler, Nah, Chelsea probably beat her too. I don't know. But like I said, she needs to rethink about her future. Like I said, she's no spring chicken. Her husband left her. Now he's probably somewhere. He has family and kids. That's what he wanted. Hey, he married you, he loves you, but even guys have that biological clock starts ticking. They say, you know what, I want to be a daddy. I love you. You're my wife. I stand by you, but let's have a family. I know you love fighting, but let's start something together. That's why we married, because I'm married because I love you, but also I want to, as a man, you want to span your lineage. You want to have something out there. Marriage is nice, but then I don't know. I know quite a few bodybuilders who are married and don't have kids, but generally, many ladies I know who are married, they do have kids. They either have them before they got bodybuilders, and even have after they got bodybuilders, because you just feel the need, you want to have a legacy. Yeah, Holly's gonna be known as one of the greatest fighters in the world. Yeah, but that's just the legacy people know. But that's a part of you where you continue even after the legacy is gone. Your bloodline continues, your name continues, your family continues. With Holly, it's it for her. She's gone. People just gonna remember her as this fighter, this champion. Yeah. Other than her family, it's just one thing I wish I did in my life. Found somebody, had kids. I got my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, but it's not the same when you have your own blood, your own kind. If something happens to you, they remember you, and they often talk about you. But my family still talk about me. But it's great when you have your own babies. I love babies. I see little kids, and you want to hug them. Children are so precious. You're a gift that a lot of people. There's some people who deserve them, some and don't have them. There's people who don't deserve them and shouldn't have kids because they don't know how to act or behave. There's some good people out there who should be parents. They have good hearts. They love. They want to share their loves. They want to share their lives. But either circumstances of biology or some other shit, they can't have kids. And you have people out here having kids and don't even, care the kids, give a damn about the kids, and just treating them like they were nothing. And that's sad. But anyway, like I said, folks, I'm gonna head out. I got some stuff I gotta do. Tomorrow, if you want to swing by, we do a Muscle Talk Monday. We're gonna discuss size versus conditioning, how the criteria it's going to be almost 2 weeks since the Olympia. Can you believe it? About 2 weeks since the Olympia? God. And we're going to have a discussion about how the size conditioning affects the division, especially women's bodybuilding physique. Some other divisions, not too much, because I don't follow the divisions hard, but we'll have a discussion about how the judging criteria it was just kind of wonky. how they place some people. Some people should have placed a little higher. Some people were in the wrong spots. I mean, it's an open debate. But like I said, like shout out to my man Marcus Bell for coming through. Thank you both for showing support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for dropping knowledge. Brother, you got to get some courage. You got to come out here one day with me. You know, you know. I know you're gonna keep saying use excuse saying my camera. You don't have to have a camera. Use your mic. You got a mic here. You know, hey, I know I'm not using my camera's off. You see the perfect stage. But congratulations to all the competitors. Shout out to Chris Cyborg coming on a good performance, unanimous decision. I think she's gonna do some more boxing in the future. It's, you know, I think PFL doesn't have any real threats for her title in 145. They might, you know, they might pull somebody up, or I feel like they might go a rematch with Larissa Pachinko. That kind of makes a little more sense. But still, you know, I think some fighters need to step up, take a chance at the shot, take a shot at the champ. I know you might get your tail whooped, but hey, you know, she's not getting any younger. That chin's not made of granite. You know, sometimes they get those chins crumble on the right hit. Look what happened to her with her fight with Amanda Nunes. But you know, Cyborg, she's a good champion, she's a good person, and I really wish y'all the best. Yeah. The man Mark says, okay, I had to chop it up with you since I'm been a while. Well, yeah, man, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that coming through. Thank you. So anyway, folks, congratulations to our competitors. Best of luck. And like tomorrow, come swing by, check out Most Talk Monday, 2:10. And like I said again, I might do some more content. I need to because, like I said, it's gonna get a little dry for bodybuilding in the next few months. Shows are getting winding down. Olympia's over. You got a few qualifications for next year's Olympia coming up. You're gonna have one show that have women's bodybuilding. That's in November, and that's the Women's Muscle Fest. Got a couple of shows for physique coming up in November, and after that, it's gonna be kind of dry. There was a show this weekend, Hurricane Pro, but they don't have women's physique, so I don't talk about it. We don't have physique or women's bodybuilding. I would talk about some other stuff that's gonna be on tomorrow's. If you want to come by and give your thoughts, I can really appreciate it. But I do appreciate again, our man Marcus coming through, chatting with me here for a bit. Shout out to all you who are here and listening, and I really appreciate it. You should mail our waitress page, aka the Emperor of Female Combat Sports Talk. Like, subscribe. I'm out. Have a good afternoon, have a good day, good night, and good luck.